and welcome to ClockTower Game Studios. This week I had some family issues come up and I wasn't able to record as much video as I wanted for hobby projects related to the Transportation Hub. So I enlisted Callie to give us a hand with some Sculpey sculpting. For those of you that don't know, Sculpey is a baked, like heat-cured polymer clay. So you bake it and it basically turns into like a plastic. She'll tell you way more about it. She has a way better grasp of it than I do, and she's really good at it. She's made some bits for previous projects as well as some that I'm going to use for the Transportation Hub, including like stuffed animals, koi fish, which have turned out amazingly in the past, and I'm really excited I've gotten to use those, and I'm looking forward to using more of them, as well as heads for like hand tools like hammers, pickaxes, and that sort of thing. So this is a really easy to use material. It's relatively cheap, it's relatively easy to find, and it's beginner friendly. So unlike like green stuff that cures really kind of out in the open, Sculpey doesn't, so you've got a lot more working time and it's a lot more forgiving to mistakes as far as I can tell. She can tell you way more about that and way more about Sculpey in general. So without further ado, I'll let her take over.
Hey guys, it's Callie. Today I'm here to help Steve film a video about Polymer Clay because we haven't seen any of the other YouTubers really mention how wonderfully versatile it can be. You see things like DOS and paper clay, but never polymer clay, which is really cool because you can pick it up at your local supermarket like Walmart or any local craft store. And it's a type of clay where it stays soft until you bake it according to the instructions on the package. And when you bake it, it becomes the solid plastic material. And it's nice if you're especially good at sculpting because it'll hold a lot of detail. And you have a very long working time with it. So today I'm going to make a little fountain because I made some koi fish and I want to pop a koi fish in a fountain. So I've mixed up my clay because it'll probably get painted. I left it with some striations, but it's all conditioned up and warm enough to be malleable and workable. So I need to cut this into pieces. And I'm just gonna start by rolling these out. And so I'm gonna make one bigger basin. Set those aside. And so I'm just gonna form this into a little bowl. And then I'm going to take another piece. We're just going to work it out a little bit. This one I don't necessarily feel I should need to roll out because it's a little bit smaller. Just gonna form our little face. And so there we have it. There's our pieces. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm just gonna make aluminum foil balls to drape the bowls over so they'll retain their shape while they bake and keep a rounded, bold basin. I decided to alter my scheme just a little bit, and I made some aluminum foil balls to form the basins around so they retain their shape in the oven. So I just kind of made it and flattened one side out so it'd sit flat in my pan and formed my clay around it in a way that I was happy with. And you'll just put that aluminum foil side down in your oven. I also altered the shape a little bit. I took some excess clay off of the pillar so I can make a little ball to put in the top of the fountain and a little pedestal for the bottom of my basin, so it'll sit a little nicer when I glue it to a base. So we're just gonna put those all in our pan lined with parchment paper so nothing sticks and you can avoid it burning a little easier. And we've got the oven preheating to 275 according to my package's instructions, but really you need to read your instructions to know for sure. After the oven's preheated, you bake it, again, according to instructions, and then we'll be back when we're done. Alrighty, so now that we're back after baking our pieces, I'm just gonna remove the aluminum foil balls. If it's a little bit stuck in there, that's okay. It'll pop right out. So now we've got our little basins. I kind of like the floppy natural look. There's this one. And honestly, I'm just gonna super glue the pieces together. So, just some super glue. And putting my basin. And then I'm gonna glue the little ball piece into the top. Now things just have to dry. And now we just need to let the glue dry. Alright, now that our glue's dried, for the top and the bottom pieces, we're gonna glue them together. So I'm just gonna add my glue on top of the little pedestal here. Not too thick, but a good layer. And just find the way you like it. Okay, so now that it's staying in place, we just need to let the glue cure so it's fully set and we can move on to the next step. Okay, so while we were off cam, I decided to glue it to a base for a little better stability, and we also added a newspaper hanging out the side. And we're gonna fill this bad boy with some 3D resin, UV resin. So right now I'm gonna mix up a little bit with the blue alcohol ink and add it as the bottom layer just so the water has a little bit of tint without being too overbearing. So I just got some UV resin off of Amazon, and now I'm using some of the Ranger alcohol inks. I think I got these at Joann's. I'm gonna add a drop because I don't need much color. We're gonna mix this up. And we're just gonna kind of scoop some of this down in here. I don't want to add too much because I plan to add a clear layer on top. I might need to mix a little bit more, but it'll be alright. And you can just use your silicone tool to poke it around. And I'm just gonna hit it with some UV light for a couple seconds, so it tacks up just enough to not be a bother when I'm adding the other layers. That should be good. And we just want to add the rest of it down here. Okay, now that we're done with that, once again we're gonna hit it with the light for a couple seconds. And you should have something that looks similar to this. Obviously, there's a lot of room for creative liberties and freedom. This is just how mine turned out. And now we're gonna go in, and we're just gonna add a little layer of clear UV resin. And I'm just gonna kind of rotate this as I fill it. And then light. And then one more little layer in the top. And I actually want it to cover my little ball. So I'll put a drop on top of here and kind of tease it down the sides. And then hit it with the light one more time. After this, we're gonna grab whatever UV lamp you may have. Ours is a nail lamp. And then we'll give it a couple minutes under there. And we'll be alright, and now that we're finished with the lamp, this is what I have. So as you can see, it's got the water with the blue tint underneath. We've got that paper and everything's on a nice base. And for me today, that's the finished product. Yeah, I got a bubble in it, but it'll be alright. That's just a little piece of scatter terrain. So that's the end of our video.
So again, huge thank you to Callie for helping film this week. With all the family stuff going on, I didn't really have time to get to all the stuff I wanted to, and hobby video production really wasn't something at top of mind. But that's beside the point. So some things that she didn't touch on necessarily in the video that I wanted to touch on is she mentioned the versatility of the Sculpey and the things you could use it for. So we've used it previously in other videos for things, or not in other videos, but in other projects for koi fish, for water features, the tool heads on equipment for a vehicle, like the engineering equipment for that, and all kinds of other random stuff like pop cans, stuffed animals, and that sort of thing. So don't forget, this is a really versatile tool to have in your equipment box that you can use for a lot of different things. This little fountain she made using the UV resin and the Sculpey baked polymer clay turned out awesome. I love that it's on a little base. It's going to be a great objective marker for Seer and other tabletop mini games at some point, but I'm going to add up a few things later to add some detail to it and some extra little bit of life. I'll probably toss it in as like a little bit of a bonus update in another video, but thank you guys very much for watching. You can find all of our social media stuff in the links below: Facebook, Insta, Twitter. You'll also find how to support us, both by shopping for all the materials and tools you see in the video, by looking at the Amazon affiliate links. You buy the stuff you always get at the normal prices, we get a little bit of a kickback. You can also support us on Patreon and buy us a coffee. Definitely, if you can afford it this month, buy some coffee for Callie. I owe her a huge thank you for all of this. Also remember, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, especially if you want to see what we're up to next week, which I think I'm going to have time and things are going to calm down a little bit, and I'll be able to demonstrate some woodworking techniques kind of for doing more in-depth wooden detailing for like countertops, wood edging, and that sort of thing for the interior details of the NeoNagoya Transit Hub. So be sure to hit the bell notification so you get those updates.
After all, don't forget, at the clock tower, it's always game time.